All right. Now, call the meeting to order at 6:18. We'll start with the pledge to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. All right, so first off, let me say I appreciate everybody coming. It's a special meeting that I called, and what this is about, can you pull up the map?
Yes, I'm doing that right now.
So the reason why we have to have a special meeting is that we are going, there's a new development which is coming in to Oak Point. It's a development in Oak Point, and because of the utility arrangements, there's 3 cities that have to deal with the utilities, and because of the sequencing of the council meetings, we have to go first. Because the other guys meet after us, and by the time we do ours, theirs would be the next month. And this development is going to start in May. They're going to push dirt next month. This development is going to be starting. Okay, so just to give everybody's bearings here. All right. So this is Steve Harvey's driveway here. Basically, we have an area here. This is Oak Point. This is Little Elm, the strip that runs along El Dorado. This is the Little Elm city limits. Sunrise Bay is all over here. Little Elm runs along here. This is us. This is Lakewood Village, all of Steve Harvey's property, everything on the other side of El Dorado. This is us down here. This is entirely located within Oak Point. It is not in Lakewood Village. It's in Oak Point. Okay? Now, the thing about this development, we've been talking with Oak Point for a couple of years, because Steve Harvey's property down here is for sale. This property was for sale. So Oak Point and Lakewood Village have had discussions over the last 2 years about what happens if a developer comes in and wants to merge the 2 together and put in one big development. So we've been talking back and forth about that. We have contingency plans and that kind of thing going on. So we've been very aware of these 2 areas going under development. Right now what's happened is a developer who built Phillips Creek Ranch. He's a successful developer in Frisco. They've come in and decided to only develop this parcel up here. This is the parcel that they bought. They are not buying the Steve Harvey property. They're not in our jurisdiction. They're entirely located in Oak Point. The issue becomes one of the utilities. Oak Point does not have their own utilities. They're a city that doesn't have water and sewer. They don't have it. When 4 years ago, what Lakewood Village did, so 4 years ago, we planned for today. 4 years ago, what we did was we started a process that took 4 years. And that was to extend our sewer rights to the other side of the street, to our area on the other side. We also, the reason why we extended our sewer rights over to the other side was to give us some control. Because that's not in our city today, but it will be in the future. Well, we can't tell them what to do on the other side of the street. They're not in our city yet. But if we have the sewer, you can't put in apartments. You got to have a sewer. So we got the sewer rights, the monopoly sewer rights, to give us some control over the other side of the street. To make sure when development happened on that side of the street, you got to come to Lakewood Village. We have the sewer rights. When we did that, when we got the sewer rights over here, we extended our sewer rights up into the buffer zone. We went into Oak Point. Oak Point doesn't have utilities. So we deliberately extended up in here into Oak Point, this area in here. We did that because that's the buffer zone next to us. We wanted to make sure we had control, even though it's not in our city, next to our city. I think we see from the wedding planner guy, you want to have control over your next door. Okay? So, this development is now ready to go. At the end of January, the developer came in. We had a meeting with the developer, and Oak Point city officials came to Lakewood Village. Ed was unavailable that day. And they came to us, and I met with them, and Linda met with them, and they said, Little Elm's got about 75% of this is Little Elm's sewer rights. The buffer zone down here, the bottom quarter, is Lakewood Village's sewer rights. they asked us, would Lakewood Village agree to give up that buffer zone and let Little Elm service it, so that there's one sewer provider for the whole development? That makes a lot of sense. That makes you don't want to have two different cities giving you two different bills, and we don't want to run sewer lines all the way across to Steve Harvey to service this area right here. It made a lot of sense. So what I told them was, yes, I can see us doing that, provided there's one condition: single family residential. No commercial, no apartments. We will not give up our sewer rights for commercial or apartments. So it's got to be single family residential. That was the rule. So that was at the end of January. They went back, they worked with Oak Point because the development's in Oak Point. They've now agreed to the development, they've met all the terms of Oak Point, they've got the tax district in place, etc. They're ready to break ground. The only thing they need from us is to square away the utilities. So this agreement says that the town of Lakewood Village, the town of Little Elm, and the town of Oak Point all agree on the utilities for this square. Okay? So the agreement was drafted by Little Elm, so we've worked it with our attorneys, we negotiated this agreement. Oak Point's also been a part of it, so Oak Point's agreed to it. So now we have to go ahead and approve this interlocal. So what this means is Little Elm will service this area with sewer. Oak Point agrees that they will only do single-family residential homes on it. And they've already approved that. Their city council has approved this development, single-family only. What we agree is we will allow Little Elm to service this square down here. It's still ours, but we'll let them service it instead of us. That's this agreement. That's what this does. Okay? So if the council, if you would turn to the second page, 1.4, it says, I'm going to quote this for the audience. Oak Point agrees that the development and land use of property in Exhibit A, which is that square, will be exclusively for single-family residential development. That's what it says. Single-family residential. That's what this is going to be. Again, it's not in our city. It's next to our city. That's important. That's why we extended our sewer lines. That's why we even put the buffer in there to go into Oak Point, was specifically for today. So we have a seat at the table today and can make sure that we don't have a wedding planner site number 2 going out up there. Single family residential. That's what this document is. Okay? Does council have any questions?
Minor correction, we didn't extend any lines, we only extended the CCN.
That's correct. That's our and a CCN is we have a monopoly.
Right.
We have the monopoly on the sewer line. It's us or build it yourself.
You just stated lines by mistake.
I'm sorry, if I said lines, I didn't mean to.
That's
Yes.
all.
We extended our rights to that area. And it took 4 years of Linda working on it to do it. It was very long, very tough thing to do. Okay? So, Oak Point's asked us to approve this because of the sequencing. We have to go first because we're the ones that are allowing Little Elm to service our areas. We have to go first. And again, I appreciate the council for coming out on a special meeting. Because of the way all the other city councils meet the third Tuesday and the second Friday and all that kind of stuff, they all would meet before us. And they can't meet before us, we gotta go first. Otherwise it'll get delayed another month, and they want to break ground in May. So,
Realizing this is just a copy, but I think you mentioned it, all 3 cities' attorneys have all reviewed it, and everybody, they've all gone their heads.
yeah, so we've agreed to all of this in principle. So just so that everybody knows as well, so Little Elm drafted the original document. We made some minor changes to it. It's been through our attorney. The developer has already paid us. So before I sent it to the attorney, I made the developer give us a check to pay for the attorney to review the document. They paid us up front. So we already have that money in the bank. When we get the bill, if it's over, they've already said no problem. They will, of course, make us whole. So we're not out anything. It's a good development for Oak Point. It would not work for us. Great developer, very nice development, it's going to be a really nice thing. It's small lots, it's 50-foot wide lots. I told them it's a great product. It's going to be a retirement, kind of, I don't know what the right political terms are these days. Active, older, something or other, I'm not sure what the right words are. But anyway, it's something like that. But they're 50-foot lots, 60-foot lots, they're smaller lots, which is really not a product that we're looking for. But it's great for Oak Point. Good for them. It's great for them. You know, $150 million project is good for Oak Point. What's good for Oak Point is good for us. And it's 100% residential. So it's a very simple agreement, like I say.
If this thing falls through, then the whole thing just reverts back to what we already had. So if the development falls through, we just revert back to...
Exactly. This development is only good for this one thing, and if it does, it just reverts.
That's all the question I have.
I mean, you know, essentially, this is Oak Point coming to us saying, will you be a good neighbor and release this so we can have a development? And, you know, there's no reason to torpedo this. There's no reason for us to decide to say no just because we can. It's a good development for Oak Point. And I'm real happy with it. Oak Point's been terrific to work with. They're just terrific to work with. I mean, and I don't mean as you know, negative on anybody. I mean, we all work together. All three cities came together for the good of Oak Point. Little Elm's not getting any of this either. The only development is going to be in Oak Point. Little Elm gets nothing. They get none of these houses. It's all us coming together to support Oak Point. That's what this is.
I don't have any questions.
Okay, no questions? Liz, do you have anything?
No, I'm just trying to read through the document as quickly as I can.
I know. The main part is sections 1, 2, 3, 4, right? The general provisions are all, that's the legalese. That's a standard interlocal agreement. Any questions from the audience?
Gary?
No. I do have one question. So first, I think this is a really good example of three cities working together. So we don't, well, I was thinking you don't see it often. I hardly have ever seen that. Where three contiguous cities come together. There's always natural tension among contiguous cities. So it's pretty impressive. My only question, maybe, I don't know if it's a simple or complex question, as Little Elm brings their rights to provide utilities to what was our utility jurisdiction, does it open the door for them to encroach upon other areas of our utility jurisdiction?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. So in the agreement, part of the agreement which we added was that Little Elm could come to this line, they could service this line here, but no further. That they were prohibited from extending anything beyond that. So the same way as Lakewood Village, technically speaking, we could supply sewer service to Sunrise Bay, but we won't. We're not going to supply sewer service over there, and they're also agreed that they cannot and they will not extend their sewer lines beyond this point. That's why we're not moving the line with them, it's still ours. It's kind of like saying, okay, you let your neighbor park on your driveway, but you're not giving them your driveway. You're going to let them use your driveway, but you still own your driveway. Nobody's taking your driveway. You're just going to let them use it for them. So that's a key item that we put in this agreement, that everybody respects everybody's boundaries. The fact that Oak Point doesn't own their own utilities means that somebody else has got to do it. So we're going to provide our own utilities, Little Elm's going to provide their own utilities, but for Oak Point, we've got to decide. And it makes logical sense. It makes perfect sense since Oak Point is the bigger entity. I'm sorry, Little Elm. Yes, Roy?
Little Elm doesn't have a sewer system over on this side unless they're building one.
The sewer system stops up at French Settlement where the new school is going in.
Okay.
Up there
That's
where
something you could, they never had that before.
when they put in El Dorado, they put in you'll see a manhole up there. They extended it down to French Settlement because they always thought a school was going to go there. That's what the middle.
Dave was on septic systems.
Sorry?
I said, you Sunrise Dave was on septic.
Yeah, everything on our side is all on septic. And I don't know anybody's on sewer over there, but they ran the line there getting ready for that middle school that's going to go in.
Oh,
When they redid the bridge, they put the line crossover.
You'll see on the right-hand side a big lift station sitting there. It's not lifting anything.
yeah, okay, I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
that was made for that sewer line. How you doing, Speed Reader?
Mark, where exactly is that entrance at in relationship
You know, I mean, that's a great point. You know, so one of the interesting things here is, look at where this development's going to dump all their traffic out. Dixon's up here. This is the other Sunrise Bay entrance. Ugh. But, you know, that's not our problem. You know,
They're just going to provide one entrance.
right now, Oak Point has approved it with only one way in and one way out.
I thought for fire code that too.
This is an Oak Point subdivision development. It's not in Lakewood Village. I don't know what their future plans are. Yeah, Mike?
I know it was a long time ago, the last time we were at a meeting. I remember it was mentioned that the county was probably only going to approve one stoplight somewhere on the El Dorado stretch here. Are we still?
Well, the problem you run into with stoplights is there's a certain law about how many cars there are. You have to legally meet the requirement.
Mm.
There's a spacing issue. So, you know, you don't want to have 4 stoplights within, you know, 500 yards of each other. So, this is a problem that we are not going to have.
Okay.
When our development shows up down here, it's part of what we're doing now. I can't really go into it, is we're looking at with land plans, street alignments, and trying to figure out the best way to signal these things. This is 235 houses that are going to be in here, okay, on 50 acres. Lakewood Village today, on our entire city, has 238 houses in the entire Lakewood Village. Okay, this has got 235, so, but not in our city.
Yeah, as long as, what I was getting at was just like, they're not going to beat us to the stoplight race.
I don't know what they're going to do, but I think we'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay? Any other questions? Liz, you comfortable? Okay, then I'd like a motion to allow me, or to approve the interlocal agreement between Little Elm, Lakewood Village, and Oak Point.
I'll make a motion that we approve the interlocal agreement between the town of Lakewood Village, the city of Oak Point, and the town of Little Elm for sewer service for Republic property route development in the city of Oak Point.
Second. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Okay. All right. I think. Okay. Do I have another motion?
Or, no, we're
Make a
not
motion to adjourn.
Oh.
Okay. I have a motion to adjourn. A really big mallet. Do I have a second?
Yes.
A second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Very good. Liz, thank you. I appreciate it.
Nice job, everybody.
Good day.
Okay, I'm gonna run.
Thanks.